Hey, welcome back, everyone. My name is Casey. I'll be your host today, and today's topic is something that I believe can benefit almost every veteran that gets newly diagnosed with cancer. How to stay financially stable during cancer treatment. I have to say this is not legal advice whatsoever, and it's definitely not financial advice. This is just a wink and a nod, and if you qualify for it and want to pursue it, go ahead and do it. So one of the good things about the VA is that when you're in the system, you're in the system. Sounds goofy, right? But if you're in the system, it opens the door for a lot of different things, even before you start any kind of treatment. The medical side and the benefit side is two different sides. But once you're in them for life. And one of the good things that the VA does on the benefit side is that we can get compensated for our military injuries. But those military injuries don't stop after we leave the service, because some ailments, cancer, PTSD, diabetes, heart problems, liver problems, a bunch of different problems show their head way later in life. So that being said, once you're in the system early enough, you can take advantage of different programs or different protocols that the VA benefits side of the house offers. And one of those benefits is a temporary 100% increase for active cancer treatment. You might not know that that actually exists, because we know that once you get to 100%, that's usually it. There's a couple of different temporary statuses like TDIU, individual unemployability. But this is not separate, but it's in the same kind of category with a bunch of safety guards and rails put up. So they have an end time, basically. And I'll cover that in a little bit. So the temporary 100% cancer increase. So if you are newly diagnosed or you have an active treatment plan for cancer, either you're doing chemo, radiation, mixtures, pills, whatever different treatment plans that are out there, this will apply to you or should apply to you. So what happens is, if you're in the VA system, you can submit a normal claims process for the most part, and giving them all the information, the treatment plan, the diagnosis, when you start your chemo or radiation, and they will give you a temporary 100% status, almost no questions asked. That benefits us financially, because if you're not at 100% already, you get that temporary bump, and maybe you don't have to stress about going to your construction job or traveling to a different work site or something like that. You don't have to really worry about that as much as you would if you didn't know about this. And that should alleviate a little bit of the issue while you're doing treatment, because I know firsthand, because I had stage 3A testicular cancer that metastasized to my kidney area. So I know firsthand how stressful chemo can be, how scanxiety affects the veteran, and traveling back and forth with no energy for each of your appointments and going to work. I know firsthand how all that feels, and it's not a fun activity to do. So alleviating a little bit of that financial burden, I think everyone should know about. Everyone should see if they qualify for. It can definitely provide financial security and stability while you're in these bad moments of chemo, when you're throwing up, when you have no strength whatsoever to do anything, when you're just a bump on the log because you cannot physically do anything. This can at least help out a little bit. But the key to this is to apply early, because it's still a VA claims process. They're still going to have people review it. It's not a streamlined process, not yet. And we're going to eventually start pushing for it to be more streamlined here at the Veteran Cancer Network. And if you are newly diagnosed with cancer, please go to our website. We have a VA Quick Start Guide with as much information as I can cram into a website page for how to handle the VA, first steps, all the way to you're in remission, what to do next. Please give that a shot at veterancancernetwork.org. So we already went over the temporary status. Now we're going to move into the reevaluation. Say you are done with cancer. You're done with your treatment. You survived. You're the fighter. You're in remission. You're doing the follow-up appointments. What next? Well, what happens next, if you had that temporary 100% increase, is that after 6 months, on the dime, on the dot, the bullseye, after 6 months, you will be reevaluated. And it's not going to be you in front of someone. It's going to be a records evaluation from the VA. And then if you're out of active treatment for 6 months, they will, no matter what, reduce you back down to your original rating. So if you were at 30%, You got a temporary status of 100, you're going back down to 30. No ifs, ands, or buts. That is the one downside of this that I think they should give you more of a heads up, or at least when you get granted a temporary 100% status, that you will be given a packet, given something, given a heads up that, hey, once your treatment's done, 6 months down the road, we will be taking this percentage back, and you will be reduced back down to your original percentage. As of what I understand, I am a VSO of Florida. I know the ins and outs. Sometimes it's a little nuance, a little bit of niche, subject matter that I have to research. But I have a veteran in our Veteran Cancer Network Facebook group, and he finished active treatment almost 6 months ago, and they reduced his percentage within 3 days of the next payout cycle, or benefit. You getting your financial paycheck for your disabilities. He was reduced, and he dropped all the way back down to 30%. That's why I'm talking as in 30%. I would be saying the same thing to him, which I have because he called me up. But if you are through a chemo, expect that they will reevaluate you within 6 months, if not sooner, to be honest. It all depends on who's doing the records review. So what can you do to make sure that you're going to keep some of that percentage? That's the next topic. That's the next thing. What should I do before treatment ends? What you should do, and I will stress it as a friend, because I can't give you advice as of right now legally. I can stress as a friend, what I would tell someone is I would immediately, as soon as treatment starts, immediately start the VA claims process for secondary conditions. If you can start the VA process by time, usually when you're done with treatment, your chemo radiation, once you start the VA process for secondary conditions, and if you are new to this and you do not know what secondary conditions is, think about it like this. If I had, let's say, testicular cancer like I did, and now I have neuropathy of my hands because of chemo, that is a secondary condition you can claim. You cannot usually claim cancer itself or your type of cancer. You usually cannot claim it. It's not really in their system as a line item on most cases, unless it's secondary. So if you are making a claim, you are going to be more times than not claiming a secondary condition. So if you have ED, that can be erectile dysfunction. That can be a secondary claim. If you had kidney damage, that can be a secondary claim. If you have lung, heart, you're still fatigued, you can contact a VSO, which is free, and they can help you develop a claim to be able to get you over that line before treatment even ends. And then even if treatment ends, you can still place more claims after that. But you need to get the ball rolling to try to get your percentage to 100% if that is your overall goal, so it won't hit as hard if they were to reduce you. Because let's face it, chemo and radiation and other treatment options for cancer, you're going to be left with residuals, secondary problems. It's going to happen. Go ahead and accept it now. And this is me speaking as a friend. You're going to get some residuals, and it's going to suck. But if you know about them, you get treatment for them earlier, you can mitigate some of the more extreme aspects of it. Like there's treatment plans for neuropathy. There you can go ahead and get on, heart medication. You can do, like chemo brain or brain fog. You can start getting that treatment plan, a new treatment plan for those before you're even done with cancer itself. And I know that's tacking on a little bit more, problems to it, but you want to address those earlier so they don't become bigger in the future. But if you go ahead and you finish chemo and you already have a fully developed claim in the works, or actually maybe even done, you don't have to worry about that VA reevaluation because you've already started the process of increasing your stuff, and you're not going to be left holding the bills the next month if they, 6 months rolls around and you're like, oh crap, now they reduced me back down. I'm out like $1,500. How do I pay my bills at this point? You don't have to worry about that if you stay on top of your stuff. If you get the temporary status, if you go ahead and file your VA claims as soon as you can, and you won't have to worry about it later on down the road, 6 months later after treatment. You can worry about you being in remission. you continuing your life in a new way. Because speaking from experience, chemo changes your body. You're reborn for the most part after you're done with treatment, and you have a new lease on life. Go ahead and enjoy your life. Go ahead and start crossing off stuff from your bucket list because you dodged a bullet, because you caught cancer, hopefully early. You got your treatment plan. You're done with it, or you're in active remission, and you can go ahead and start living your life the way you should have lived your life beforehand. Take cancer as more of a wake-up call, and you can now progress to something better. You can put your energy into stuff that really matters, either that be self-care, family, vacationing, or maybe even doing your own advocacy work. So I hope this helps someone. It made me feel better just talking about it, because I want more people to understand this. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think this is a good approach. Get the temporary status if you're not at 100%. Go ahead and start filing secondary claims, and go ahead and enjoy the rest of your life in remission. And so if you got anything from this, know that you're not alone. We're here to help as much as we can as we continue to grow as a nonprofit, the Veteran Cancer Network. You can find us on Facebook and all the other platforms, same handle, Veteran Cancer Network, or visit our website at veterancannernetwork.org, where we have the VA Quick Start Guide to Cancer. I hope this helps someone. And with that, I thank you for hearing me out today, and I hope you enjoyed this little conversation. If you ever want to be on our podcast and you're a veteran, caregiver, resource, or any in between, let us know, and we would love to talk to you.